Welcome back to Skeleton Knight to Another World Anime Review episode number 8. This I'm reviewing the 8th episode of the series, which is called Allied Dash Through the Darkness with the Beastpeople. This episode covers pretty much the second big portion of chapter 4. Yes, we're actually almost done getting to adapt this book. My guess is we'll probably finish adapt this book either by next week's episode or the following week. And you're thinking, Nick, you were doing this on Thursday. You usually don't get a chance to do this until like Friday or Saturday. I didn't have to do a stream tonight. It was night off, so let's do this. So this one we pick up right where we left up. We have first started with Chema. That's basically the cat ninja who first popped up a few episodes back in episode 4 of all things. Yeah, it takes 3 episodes to come back, and she's, I gotta admit, she's a very lovely woman. No denying that, even though she's a cat girl. Yep, and they do, this is a slight alteration to what happened in the book. They kind of basically move, like, having her react to the fact that she's a ninja. Him admitting it in the anime, or in the book, basically, they didn't say it all. Here, it's like, how'd you know a ninja? And he does bring up it does have a brief conversation, but they actually move it to a different location, which that's pretty good. You don't need to have it out in the open like that. So, yeah, and she also, they do a bit of explanation about her whole lineage. They do cut portions about that, about get to in a minute. So, she basically gives her name, and of course they introduce themselves, and it gives her basically what she wants to do, she wants to free her kind, her beastmen, and Eileen basically agrees to help she asks Ark for help, and of course, Ark necessarily can't exactly agree to it because he's contracted to the elves, but Arlene, proud because basically her father is a high-level official, is able to say, yeah, we can help you, no problem, because basically you're helping out your clan. You're helping out your people. Like, okay, interesting to say the least. Yes. So, then, of course, they formulate a plan to basically just take down the slave market in the royal capital. Meanwhile, we have this scene in the palace where the second prince is being told what happened over the course of the previous episodes. Yes, where he's actually upset. They actually cut some chunks out of this particular scene. Yes, the scene is actually trimmed down due to time. Basically, what they describe in the anime is kind of similar to what they have here. Like, they're upset the fact that basically the trade business is not doing too well because the beastmen and the elves basically are after them. He needs to go because he feels he might be killed. So let's just say his assistant basically recommends putting him in a safe house. They do cut the bit, basically him saying, the prince needs a carriage. And of course he gets the carriage and drives off. Here it's like, just do the show, don't tell. Which, appreciate the fact that it apparently called off screen, which, yeah, this scene was definitely trimmed down because it was a bit lengthy in the book, basically. This took up about 6 pages. Yes, and the equivalent to about 3 minutes of the anime. And that's a brief cutaway, and then there's another cutaway, but that ties into what happens next. They basically show off the actual place they're going to hit, a slave market, the central market, mind you. And the plan is basically have ninjas coordinate all these attacks. And of course, Ark reveals he knows no teleportation magic. Which, he can use it. Okay. So, now this particular conversation was actually, they moved this different location, this particular conversation, but it's the same exact conversation, except they move it to a slightly different location. And then of course you have Ark getting on with Gomen. Of course he puts on disguise because he's supposed to decoy. He basically first tries Greco-Roman style with the whole thing with the fingers thing. Yeah, that's Greco-Roman wrestling. And do some toss-up, and that's it. It was a brief thing in the anime, but nice the fact to test his strength. Then they proceed to the actual place, where Ark and Gomen, and of course, basically, it's revealed that Gomen are actually named after a 6th grade ninja named Hanzo. That's the name of the guy who founded the clan. So, yeah, they do cut the bit out, basically. She's actually the 26th person to inherit the name of Kaiman. So, that may be saved for a future episode, per se, maybe like a side piece, but yeah, they basically trimmed down this They probably want to move the plot on. Come on, let's move along. Let's get to the action bit. But it's not. It's fine. I don't necessarily think the episode ruined the conversation per se. We got the good bits in there, and you don't necessarily mention the rest. So that's just additional information you probably don't really need. So, Ark theorizes that Hanzo may have been somebody from Japanese history who was isekai'd here and basically formed his own ninja clan. They do bring up in the book that the group was part of, they worked for the Empire, but they cut the bit out basically of the fact that the leader, they attempt to kill him multiple times in the book. Yes, and the fact that his group broke away from the Empire due to the fact that the Empire feared became too powerful. Which, okay, interesting to say the least. Which, that's what happened in the book. In the anime, there's no mention of it at all, but I'm sure probably the war thing. There's no mention of a civil war in the anime, but they probably mentioned it at some point, but not here. So, they begin to attack Ark and Gomen. They go inside, basically blast away the doors, and they pretty much spend the next rest of the episode. Of course, they pretty much the capital behind you from the outside. And then, of course, you have the various ninjas. Of course, you have Kaime, where she puts on her ninja outfit again. So, they break in and use their multiple rock moves, like Rock Spear, Rock Fang, and it seems like these two are just having so much of beating a bunch of enemy soldiers. I mean, necessarily what they're doing couldn't illegally kill them, but I'm sure they're probably fine. I'm sure Ark probably does not want to kill humans. He'll beat them up, definitely, but I don't think he wants to kill them. He'll kill monsters, but not kill people. So we have that, and the episode ends basically with Kahneman and Arlene, where with Ponyta, by the way, Ponyta's with Arlene, probably because of the particular safe, and of course they go to a particular door, which they're probably gonna go through for the next episode. Yeah, they cut they actually started to that. They actually started the end of the episode where they started with the third portion of the chapter, which my guess is probably be adapted next week. Yes, but they have a lot for this episode, like a big chunk. And it's surprising, though, they're basically spending almost 3 episodes on one chapter. Which, come think of it, the only anime I've seen that did this was How Realistic with the Key. That's the only anime I've seen this where they actually spend more than one episode. Now, this series so far, with the exception of the opening chapter, has spent pretty much usually about 2 episodes on one chapter. This is probably going to be the first one to basically do 3 chapters, though the last few did have sequence out of order, but didn't ruin anything, basically. Just move stuff up, basically, to move stuff along. Probably due to time. Yep. But damn good episode. Love it. Can't wait for next week. And probably tomorrow I'll probably review some Kaguya-sama Love is War at the Finish Yasuo Princess Half Demon. And I think I'll have time after taking on something else that I might be able to do a comic corner because I have that ready to go, but don't have time to do it tonight. I can probably do it tomorrow. Yes, tomorrow. I have nothing really big going on tomorrow, so sure, there's no problem. Okay? Thanks for doing. Bye.